UFC 252 kicks off this weekend. We're going to talk to you right now about the main event of the evening for the baddest man on the planet championship, the World Heavyweight Championship. Nate, Mike, what's going on, Mike? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm really excited for this fight coming on up, man. I'm been sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for this new UFC to come out, obviously with Daniel Cormier taking on Stipe Miocic in the trilogy for the ages, I'd say.
Yeah, this fight feels like it was a long time in the making, right? Like I feel like we've been waiting for this fight.
We went through the DC Brock Lesnar call-outs. We went through the Stipe Miocic staying out and waiting the whole time. The Derek Lewis fight happened in between this. We've been waiting for a while as fans.
Yeah, it's been a really long time, and now finally we're going to get an older DC than he might have liked to be competing in what he claims will be his final fight as a mixed martial artist altogether. We'll get to whether or not you think that's true, Mike. But let's talk, first of all, about the significance of this bout. Anytime there's a trilogy, we know that, the stakes are at play. I'll start with this. How important is this for either guy in cementing them as the greatest heavyweight champion of all time?
Well, obviously, when you think about heavyweight champions, you think about Cain Velasquez, Josh Barnett, just to name a couple guys that are also need to be in the mix for GOAT heavyweight. But obviously, with Stipe Miocic with the most defenses at 3 with his UFC title before losing it to Daniel. And then Daniel having never lost at heavyweight until he lost to Stipe. These are two of the best guys to ever get in the ring and do it. Obviously, it's an extremely significant fight. Heavyweight's one of the most touted divisions. Everyone's eyes are on it and will continue to be on it, especially with the young blood coming up. But this is right now, at the end of the day, two guys, 37 years of age for Stipe, 41 for Daniel Cormier, who are trying to walk away and leave their legacy cemented as the best the UFC has seen thus far in the heavyweight division. And that comes with the moniker of the baddest man on the planet. So there's a lot of significance to this fight.
Well, that's just it. And I'll ask you this. Do you think the winner of this fight to cement the trilogy cements themselves as the greatest heavyweight champion in UFC history?
I'd say in UFC history, 100%. And definitely just across the board. I think the sport has taken such leaps and bounds in terms of its sophistication and just being truly mixed martial arts, and not saying, oh, is my discipline better than yours? This is a mixed bag, and we're going to see a lot of testing here for Miocic and his ability to, keep the fight standing and whatnot and take advantage of it when it's standing. And Daniel Cormier not getting emotional and not getting egotistical in there and actually sticking to the game plan and, trying to grind this one out. He loves to embrace the grind after all.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit there. I was just going to get into, the keys to victory in this fight. Obviously, we look at both of them who've secured, TKOs or knockouts of each other in bouts 1 and 2, but right, both being, pretty tremendous wrestlers. I would say DC is obviously the better wrestler, and given his knockout power in the first fight that we saw, I could see why he's so confident going into this fight. But I'll ask you this: the keys to victory for either fighter, for Daniel Cormier to walk out Saturday night as the world heavyweight champion, what does he have to do?
He's got to focus on that single leg and that chain wrestling, where one wrestling engages the clinch, the next one engages the balance, and the next one engages the actual takedown being secured. He's got to also focus on some leg kicks. Slow down that movement of the boxing of Stipe Miocic. He's got Daniel Cormier is a shorter guy. He's 5'11", but he's a heavy dude, and he's able to turn those legs over and land some really hard strikes on Stipe, who's a little bit longer. He's 6'5", so there's less meat on that bone. So you start landing some leg kicks. That's nice. He also, I think the most important thing is the body left hook is the key to victory for Stipe. But if DC can find a way to deflect that body hook and counter off of it, he can try to, make something happen in the striking game by saying, okay, well, you saw my body last time. I've made adjustments to that. Now, we've heard DC say he made adjustments to the left high head kick against John Jones, and we saw a different story. How that played out a little bit differently, though Stipe is not John Jones. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's a different fighter altogether. So will you be able to adapt to the adaptations that were made is another big thing. Now, in Stipe's, obviously, like I said, that body left hook, those knees to the body, he's got to outlast. He's got to have patience. That's the main thing. Patience and that pivot cross, that turning over of that right hip and landing that square on the jaw of Daniel Cormier and snapping that head back and then comboing that with a left body hook. That's the combinations he's going to have to look for and be patient in the process. Because when Stipe gets impatient, it's not that he walks forward with reckless abandon. When he gets impatient, he stands still and makes himself a standing target, where leg kicks make themselves abundantly available. But yeah, those are some of the keys to victory. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think Stipe's, his clearest path to victory is to keep DC off of you, which is a lot easier said than done, right? Daniel Cormier has not kept it secret that he's going to go out there and try to wrestle Stipe for as much as he can, because he knows that's the easiest path to victory for him. If Stipe is able to use his wrestling to fend off DC's wrestling and keep him at bay with his longer reach and size, then at the very least, he gives himself a better shot. Now, I know in the first fight, DC didn't really shoot, right? It was over in a few minutes. When in the clinch, Daniel was still pretty strong because, like you said, he's strong, he's short, and he's heavy. And if it gets that clinch, I think DC would still probably have an advantage there. We saw it in the first fight, right? Even in the second fight, he was beating Stipe's ass for most of it. So if Stipe can't keep Daniel at range, and I mean away from him, I think DC goes out favorably as the heavyweight champ of the world.
100%. I don't disagree with anything you said. Those are very astute observations there. And so I guess it's just natural for us to move on and talk about some of our predictions here. What do you have going on in this? What is obviously the bookies have it a -115 to -115. So it's about as even as it's going to get. Who you got?
I got DC. I got Daniel double champ Cormier. DC obviously being, one of the first guys ever to win the belt at heavyweight, light heavyweight, defending at both. We saw how he did in the first fight against Stipe. We saw how he did it for the most part against Stipe in the second fight. And then, let's not forget, he was 5 months off back surgery in that fight, and he blames that on his lack of mobility and stuff. So I'll say right now, full camp DC, even at 42, he has the stylistic ability to just chain wrestle Stipe for most of it. I'll say he can do that and probably wear him out. Despite how good in shape Stipe looks from the embedded videos, by the way. Have you seen his arms? He looks more shredded than ever.
I mean, this dude, think about the juxtaposition here, right? Daniel Cormier takes a bunch of time off, is sitting there, gains a lot of weight, and has to get it all off. Meanwhile, Stipe Miocic is a frontline worker as a firefighter, staying in shape. When he's not fighting, he's helping save people from fires and putting them out. So one guy his vocation is stay active, stay healthy, stay in shape. I got to for my work. And then the other guy is sitting there eating, enjoying life, and commentating and doing all kinds of different things. Exactly. So these two walks of lives that these guys walk outside of the cage definitely have an impact on their bodies when they're walking into this. We saw Stipe come into that second bout at 230. He's usually 239, somewhere around there, 241. He came in a little bit shredded, and I think he looks the same way. My actual prediction, as much as I think that Daniel Cormier is going to go in there and look great and the back surgery and all this stuff, Stipe Miocic is a problem. And I think the main thing is, do I think that DC is going to sit there and just wrestle the entire time, keep him down, and win rounds that way? Because I don't think he should be standing with Stipe Miocic at all, to be honest with you. I know I said some leg kicks and countering those body hooks, but that's not his game. His game is to grind it out and get some single legs and take him down. Is he able to? Yes. If he sticks to it, will he win? Probably. But I want to see him actually stick to that game plan and not get egotistical in that ring. Stipe Miocic is dangerous at any point. He doesn't really get tired at all. But my prediction, back against the wall, gut feeling, I want to go with Stipe Miocic on this one. My heart thinks that, my heart, I want DC. I love that guy. That guy's an affable character. Love that guy. I think my heart's with him, but Stipe Miocic is where I have. I think that body left hook, throwing some knees, and just out when it gets to the clinch up against the cage, and just putting that money in the bank. Hit him in the body, be patient, box him. When he comes and tries to explode on a single leg, make him pay the price for going for a single leg after failing. That's what his key to victory is. And I see Stipe very, very, very motivated. Same with DC. This is going to be a tight one. It's a toss-up in Las Vegas. So it's a toss-up here.
Are you Team DC and Team Nate Santos, or are you Team Stipe and Team Mike? I'll ask you this, guys. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Who do you think walks out UFC 252 for the baddest man on the planet championship this Saturday? Tune in. Let us know what you think. and we look forward to recapping that fight next week.